All systems go. Clear for liftoff.
What is going on, Ship It Nation, YouTube station? We are back with another edition of the MLB Quick Hit video. I'm filling in for my guy Title. He's probably out on some fancy island somewhere. I got my boy Gyiraszin in the house. We're here to talk this 11-game slate today on this fine Tuesday. Gyiraszin, I'm down here in Tennessee, man. It's hot as hell down here. I went to get some lunch, some Blaze pizza, and now it's hot. How's your Tuesday going? How was your weekend? What you got planned for the 4th? We'll be here together today and tomorrow. So you got back-to-back Ham and Gyiraszin. What's going on, man? How's your day going?
Man, I can't complain. It's been a great week, Ham. And I was telling all the people last week, hey, we had the local fair, the local carny. So I got to go up and get some carny dinners, go up to the beer tent, and that's where you see all the degenerates. Like, I'm 52, so back from the day, like 30 years ago, you see dudes and people you haven't seen in 30 years. Some are fat, some are skinny, some are tall, some are uglier, some are prettier. I mean, it's all different there, Ham, but it is pretty cool. But DFS wise, had a decent week. I can't complain. I had a few better weeks beforehand, but that's okay. We'll get right back on it. But yesterday, the slate yesterday was like, this is a total degen slate. Like there's a Coors Field, and then there's literally, like 3 games. I was like, you know what? Today's a good day. Just maybe play a little bit. I wasn't really too worried about it. But today we got a good one, as you mentioned. We got a big slate here today. It actually is nice here in Michigan. Normally it's humid as fucking balls. The week before it was so hot, man. It was just unreal. But actually now it's like mid-80s. It's nice. We got a nice little breeze. You can't ask for better weather, man. If you like golfing, man, this is like, if you were to dial 10.0 weather, like perfect, this is it, what we got here in Michigan. And we only get like 10 of these days a year. We cashed one of them tickets here today, though, Ham. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, I might have said quick hit video. Hey, Toga, when I'm usually hosting, it's normally a quick hit, but I'm filling in for my guy Title, so I apologize. This is not a quick hit. This is the real deal. Go ahead.
Yeah, we got an older guy here last week, Ham. You should have seen, man. We were talking about pooping in a box, the color guard thing, and Title was like floored about the whole colonoscopy thing because somebody had mentioned, getting a colonoscopy or something, being old. And I was like, man, wait till you got to do that, man. The prep work for that sucks. I mean, it's shitty. It's truly shitty. No pun intended. Yeah. And we started talking about it and we were laughing. And I was telling him, if you're lucky, you might get to poop in a box and mail it in. And he was like, what? I'm like, yeah, my buddy's a UPS driver. And he's like, yeah, some of them boxes, we know which ones to grab, which ones not to grab.
Yeah, I was listening last week when y'all were talking about that carny food, man. Someone, I think might have been you or Title that didn't like the funnel cakes, man. I'm fat over here. I like those funnel cakes. I can't get enough of those.
Absolutely. I got one when I got there, Ham. And then what was funny part is on the way home, I had to stop and get me one of them caramel nut apples on the way home. I had to get one of them. And I should have did it. Well, maybe not because I got that stinking sugar all over my truck. But I got them nuts all over my damn. I've still been finding them little nuts on my seat from them caramel apples I ate. But,
but they're so good. I'll do my best Title impression and say hello to everybody in chat. What's going on, Ben? Appreciate Ben was in here 2 hours early. He couldn't wait. Hopefully he's still around. My boy Richie Smalls. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit that, smash that like button, subscribe if you already haven't. It helps us out a ton. What's going on, Michael? As always, Togo, my boy, in here. Gator Nation, what's going on, Gator? From Fresno, straight out of Cali. What's going on from Fresno? Michael Peterson, what's up, boys? How you doing? Michael thinks this is a tough slate. We'll see. We'll dive into it. Brewers, Rockies, they scored what last night? 15-some-odd runs. Gyiraszin should see more of the same with your boy Dallas Keuchel back on the bump. We'll get into that. No stop. What is that? No stop in me try. What's going on? Anybody else I don't see? Charlie, just welcome. Poe DGen Stoner from all the way from Colorado. You know him and Gyiraszin hitting those safety meetings in here. And always Ben Jizzy still in the house. We certainly appreciate it. If you are new and you aren't a member over there at Drafters, make sure you head on over to drafters.com enter the promo code SHIPIT to get a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. We have he's not the reigning anymore. He used to be the reigning champion, but title, 250. I think that was 2 seasons ago. Make sure you head over to Drafters if you don't have an account over there today. We got about 70 people in here watching now. Gyiraszin, let's do it a little bit different today. Let's go game by game if you're okay with that, and not do pitchers. If you're good with that, we'll go game by game. Gyiraszin and I typically focus on FanDuel over here at the Nation, but we'll
talk pitchers with the games. How about that?
Yeah, that's exactly. We'll talk pitchers with the games. Who you like, who you don't like. Go Collect was in Detroit. I wonder if was Go Collect at the FGWC. I'm not real sure, but maybe he was. But if he was,
yeah, I live like maybe 25 minutes, half hour down I-96 from all the action where it was. But I actually went an hour the other way. I got an RV camp resort, and it's been out there for the last couple of weeks. So my liver and lungs been getting one hell of a workout here the last few weeks. But I'll tell you what, good people out there. We have a lot of fun. I've been playing cornhole. My arm hurts so bad. I think I'm like 102-1. I think I've only lost like once. They can't get me. They have a hard time, but it's a good time. I let them try.
Next time we get together, we got to have a cornhole tournament. We didn't have much friendly competition amongst the Ship It Nation crew, but next time we got to definitely do that. So so that'd be nice. Go Collect was at the FGWC. Hope y'all had a good time. Toga,
it was a great weekend here weather-wise for that FGWC here, the golf championship. I mean, it was hey, we couldn't have dialed it up any better. I mean, truthfully, that's what we've had the last few days. I mean, the weather has just been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, and it's already July. Football will be here before you know it, but this is a baseball show. Enough of the banner, Gyiraszin. Let's get right into the games. The first game that I want to talk about is going to be the Cincinnati Reds out of the Great American Small Park, heading into Yankee Stadium, who just put up 16 on the Blue Jays 2 or 3 games ago. Now at home, taking on Graham Ashcraft, Luis Gil on the mound for the Yankees. Talk to me about this game. Let's start with the pitchers first. Any interest in Ashcraft or Gil, who's had a good season? Then we'll go into the bats. Talk to me about this game, Gyiraszin.
Well, this one here I think is interesting. I mean, you look at it, you got over-under sitting there at 8.5. Yankees minus a 220 at home. You got Gil, who's been beat up the last 2 times. The last time I think we were on this show here, I think Gil was one of the guys. It was like an extreme chalk day for Luis Gil here. It was like a week ago, I want to say. And I had recommended playing the Mets because we didn't know. That was my sneaky stack of the day that day because I'm not sure, what's wrong here. It just doesn't look right. So I think, he's definitely play. I think there's some strikeout upside there. I'm just really concerned here about his recent outings here. And another thing I do like to look at here, I got up in front of me. I like to look at their last 10 games, like, how their over-under betting has gone. And I'll tell you what, the Yankees over has hit the last 9 out of 10 games, Ham. So, they've been putting up some runs, giving up some runs. But that is something noticeable here with them. And they're 3-7 outright in their last 10. So obviously they've been getting beat up a little bit here, but Gil for me, it's scary, man. I mean, you do look at the strikeout percentages. You're looking at Gil, he's 28%. His walk rate is not good at all. He's been walking way too many. He's at like 12, almost 13% walk rate. But the Reds here, I mean, the Reds are a team too that have kind of backed off a little bit here. I mean, yes, them and the Brewers are the highest stolen base teams. But I feel like where you pick up with the Reds in the stolen base opportunities, they just haven't been hitting enough home runs for me here, to take down a GPP, especially on a bigger type slate, and especially as we're getting into warmer weather. So I kind of, when I look around, I'm like, oh, people are liking the Reds today. I kind of like that because I feel like even when they're chalky, it just seems like they haven't got there. They're just not hitting the home runs you'd want. But I think this is a tough place here. Obviously, Cincinnati bats, you're not really wanting to attack Gil, even though he does seem a little beat up. I think that would be a low-owned stack you could go after if you really wanted to. I mean, you get the road at bats there, but man, I don't know. Yankee bats here against Ashcraft. Ashcraft is more of a ground ball pitcher. He's 48% to righty and to both the left side. Very low fly ball pitcher to both sides here. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really liking this game here, really on either side, to be honest. And Gil for me on the pitcher side, I mean, I think he's more of a pivot off Cease and Scooble today, if you wanted to go there, because I think he does have some upside if he can get it right. But just the way he's been recent, it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, Ashcraft hasn't been terrible, but just when you look at those Yankees, they're tough to stack. I mean, Aaron Judge is $6,600. Juan Soto, $6,100. Outside of that, I don't even know if there's, many Yankees that I'd want to play. But, I mean, obviously you could always one-off Aaron Judge, always one-off Juan Soto as well. So I won't be full stacking them. And then I'm with you on those Reds, low-owned stack. You hit the nail right on the head. Gil just walks too many batters. He does have some strikeout upside, but this Reds team's only been striking out 22% versus righties over the last 14 days. So not a huge strikeout upside for Gil. And at $9,800 on DraftKings, I think I will go other places.
12 earned runs in 5 innings. I mean, that's tough, Ham. That's tough.
Yep. No, I would agree with you. Moving on to the next game, we're going to stay in the AL East. They're in Toronto anyway. We got Houston, who did play yesterday in Toronto, taking on this Blue Jays team. We had a 3-1 game yesterday on Canada Day. Now we get Jose Barrios going up against Spencer Arrighetti. Spencer Arrighetti was very good in his last start. Gyiraszin, I think he had over 10 Ks. That was against this watered-down Rockies lineup. Now he goes on the road to take on this Blue Jays team with a lot of righties in the lineup. Any interest in Barrios? Any interest in Arrighetti? And then let's talk about the bats.
Yeah, Arrighetti, I mean, he pitched really well last time out. I mean, I think, if I'm not mistaken,
I think he had 10 Ks.
It was Colorado, too. Colorado. Yeah, so, I mean, 38 points for him there. I mean, his game logs before that are pretty scary. He had 10 Ks, as you mentioned, right around 90 pitches. The problem I have here is the Blue Jays, this is a team I just don't like to attack. They just don't strike out that much. They have very low strikeout rates. So generally, whoever's playing the Blue Jays, I kind of, especially on a bigger slate like this, generally a team I just don't generally like to attack here. And Arrighetti just doesn't have a good enough spot here for me to really even consider it. Now, Barrios, he's another one here. I mean, sitting here against Houston, I mean, Barrios more of a ground ball pitcher, the right side. It's up about 10% on the right side than the left side. His fly ball percentage a little higher. So if you want to go after Barrios, you could have some lefties. I guess Alvarez would be somebody you could definitely look at here. But, I just don't like all the they don't have enough lefty power for me to really go after Barrios. Barrios isn't a guy I really like to attack after either. This over-under is sitting there at 8.5. We do have 4 sevens, 3 7.5s, and a 7 today. So we generally don't see that, especially on the slate. So we do have that 11 game over there in course here today. But, all these other games here sitting there at 8.5 here, Ham. So I thought, I mean, it is kind of interesting. The Cubs game and Kansas City games are up at 9.5. But, as far as the over-under goes, this game here, I really thought here when I was about to look, I wanted to see what it was. I thought it was going to be an 8, maybe even a 7.5. But I'm a little surprised to see it at 8.5. But Barrios, I give him enough respect to where I wouldn't want to do it. And I will say, too, as I mentioned with the Yankees, Toronto was 7-2-1 in the over in their last 10 games. So, I like to kind of look at some of them trends, too, especially getting this warmer month. Kind of goes off to shows you what teams are hitting a little better.
Yeah, no, would agree with you. Yeah, Arrighetti, a pretty bad game log if you look at it outside of that last one. That Astros team striking out about 17% against righties. Yeah, no thank you for me. And who said it a minute ago? It was King of Smack. Yeah, I agree with King of Smack. Blue Jays, they're tough to stack. They're so frustrating. But, man, that Houston pen has been throwing a lot of arms. And so if Arrighetti gets in some trouble early, you may get some of the worst relievers. But, yeah, I don't think a full stack either there, and I won't be going to those pitchers. So far we're 2 for 2, and we don't like either pitcher. We don't really like the bats for the most part. Let's move to this next one. I think we'll have some interest in at least one side of these bats. We have the San Francisco Giants heading into Atlanta to take on these Braves. Ronaldo Lopez for the Braves. Hayden Birdsong, which I'm assuming he is an opener today for the Giants, taking on Atlanta in Atlanta. Talk to me a little bit about this game.
Yeah, Birdsong's gonna get some innings. I mean, he went 4 in the set 2 last week, 97 pitches. He's a pretty highly rated prospect with a pretty high K rate. So remember last week I was singing, doing the chicken dance. Na, 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 na. We were all laughing about it, having fun. with old Birdsong. He did all right. I mean, what did he end up getting us at?
He got 10 points
he got
almost.
us 9 points. I think he started out better and he got beat up a little bit that second time around the lineup. So, I mean, there's still a little bit there, but he does have, pretty good K rate, like I mentioned in the minors. I mean, he is going up against San Francisco, isn't somebody that I generally would like to go after here, but I don't like Birdsong here. I think there's enough to go around here. And then, as far as Lopez goes, yeah, I think you could definitely consider Lopez here in your pool of pitching today. I mean, there's a handful of guys here I think you could see. So, I mean, you get a little bit of discount off a few of the guys that you have with Lopez. As you look up, Lopez is cheaper than Gill, Cease, and Skubal. So if you wanted to go there with those four, I think there's a separation today in pitching, Ham, to where Cease and Skubal with their upside are probably the two guys, if you can afford, you're going to want to have in your lineup today. Skubal with that Minnesota matchup, and then we got Cease out there in Texas. But, Gill, I think could keep up with it. It's just, like I said, I wish he had a little bit better recency. But I think Atlanta here against San Francisco, Lopez sitting at 9,600, you're basically getting $900 discount on him on DK. But I don't mind Lopez. I think he's in play today. I think he'd be the guy that I'd probably prefer if I didn't want to pay up for Skubal or Cease. I think I prefer Lopez over Gill, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Lopez has been playing well. I mean, this Braves team, it's going to be tough to get this Braves team. I really like them as a low-owned stack today. You got the Brewers, you got the Rockies, you got the Kansas City, you got Tampa. I mean, you got the Yankees. You just got a bunch of teams that people are going to want to play and stack ahead of this Braves team. I'm assuming this guy's a rookie. I don't know too much about Mr. Chicken Dance, Mr. Birdsong, but give me this Braves team at home, back home against this Giants team. Should get some runs up on them. I like the Braves as a low-owned stack. Yeah, give me them Braves as one of my stacks.
Yeah, I wrote down my 5 top stacks, and I will tell you that I debated back and forth between the Braves and my top 5, and they just missed by just a little bit.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think anyone's going to play him, or not many people are going to play him. Let's move on to the next game. We got your Detroit Tigers. No Spencer Torkelson in the lineup tonight. Hopefully he's tearing it up down there in AAA. Got a good – you lost some money when Spencer went down to the minors.
Yeah, man. I got coasters now for my high noons over here. I got my Spencer Torkelson card over here.
Yeah, so we got Skubal, who's just been absolutely dynamite. Cy Young-esque worthy this year, going into Minnesota to take on Spencer. I think it's Simeon Woods Richardson. Sorry, Mr. Richardson. You got Richardson going up against his Tigers team. Any interest in either one of these pitchers? If you don't have any interest in these pitchers, any interest in those Detroit bats?
Well, I'll say that I think Skubal's the best overall pitcher on the slate, skill-wise, for sure. I think he's definitely has the higher upside. I think he's a play. I think you got to decide between Cease and Skubal. I mean, obviously, in a perfect world, if we could play them both, they are the top 2 plays for me on the entire slate as far as pitching goes. They all both have a higher upside, and I think there's a little gap in between. And then you could start looking at like Gill, Lopez, Eovaldi, Kirby, some of them guys. But I think these guys stand out quite a bit. Skubal with this matchup here against Minnesota, I think looks really good. Skubal is just one of them Cy Young kind of pitchers. I mean, this guy is he's just been incredible. His K rate 35% here to lefties. I mean, lefties are not touching him. His ground ball rates are really high to both sides, low fly ball rates. I think this Minnesota lineup could be in a little bit of trouble, even though the left, as far as, the top of that lineup goes, they're going to be able to pretty much throw all righties at him. I mean, they don't have as many Ks in the top of that lineup. They're all in the teens. So I think that's why if I had to go, I think Skubal is the best pitcher all day, but I think Cease in his matchup, and Cease has been getting a little bit more of a pitch count, maybe around 7 to 10 pitches higher. You look across the game log. So I got Cease ranked 1, I got Skubal ranked 2, but I couldn't argue with either one of you. I think both are great plays here today, but I'd definitely be liking me some to Skubal today. Now, as far as Simeon Wood Richardson, I kind of think that's interesting, man. You look at the Tigers, Ham, they cannot hit for shit, man. This last 7 days here, the Tigers OPS bottom of the MLB here. They're at 489. They're hitting 159 as a team. I mean, I think anytime, any basic MLB pitcher, when you got a team that can't hit for shit, where's my man at here from Wisconsin, Michael? I always say can't hit out of a fucking paper bag. That's the way the Tigers, and they usually seem to do good, Ham. So maybe I'll help out my squad. But seriously, Tigers haven't been hitting for shit. So, maybe Woods Richardson's the guy you might want to look at his potential, maybe like an SP2 or somewhere around them lines. I don't really mind. I mean, he had 14, 17, 20 out of 3 out of the last 4. He's getting 90 some pitches. I mean, he's getting you 4, 5, 6 Ks maybe. Tiger's been god awful. So I don't mind that at all. So I wouldn't mind Woods Richardson here in your SP2 pile.
Yeah, no, I certainly agree with you there. Woods Richardson looks nice. What's scared? I mean, the Tigers, you said it. I mean, I looked at their last 14 and 30 days. Goodness gracious. Striking out almost 25%. That's not really Wood Richardson's game, but I think, like you said, you get 4 to 6 Ks, limit that damage, get 6 innings. We think we're going to get the win. I'm a little lower than you on Scooble, though. I mean, the Twins been pretty good against lefties. Don't strike out a whole ton. 9 righties in that lineup. Not that Scooble can't take care of it, but he's going to see 9 righties to start. We know that Minnesota does like the platoon, so if he goes out, some of those guys will go out as well. That Twins team in years past, Gyiraszin, they've done a lot of striking out. Not so much this year, sub 20% against lefties over the last 2 weeks. So King of Smack is in Madison, Gyiraszin. But I'm with you. I like some Woods Richardson. I don't mind those Twins bats as a little sneaky stack. Won't be full stacking them, though, don't believe. If you wanted to get different, because Scooble will come with some ownership. Moving on to the next game. It is in the Windy City. It is those Philadelphia Phillies minus Kyle Schwarber, minus Bryce Harper. Michael Mercado taking on Hayden Wesneski. Gyiraszin, I'm going to leave these to you. 2 pitchers I've never heard of. Talk to me about this game. Any interest in either one of those pitchers? And if not, I have interest in both sets of these bats. Talk to me.
Well, I did look up Mercado's his first start. I mean, dude, he's another guy with a 12% walk rate. So when I saw that, I thought, well, we might as well stack against him today. I think that sounds like a winner for me. I got them moved up pretty high. And then you look at the over-under of this game sitting at 9.5, one of the higher ones of the day. But here we are. We got a Wrigley Field game, Ham. They're not really churching up the wind as, they have in the past. I think this over-under is more of less of a, we got some shitty pitchers on the mound. Them wind type, teases that they give us, Ham. Sometimes, I mean, it just seems like that hasn't panned out. I've been calling it out almost all year now. But, I think this one here, just kind of looking at the 2, this Mercado, as you mentioned, he's got a low strikeout right here. I think these the lefties here for the Cubs, definitely interesting. Bush, Bellinger, even Happ. I think these guys are all in play here today. So I like some Cubs. I think they're in a decent spot here today against this Philadelphia team. The Philadelphia bullpen, just taking a peek at that, is one of the better bullpens. So, you might have to get in when you got to get in against this Mercado kid here off the bat. But, I think it's definitely an interesting spot here. Mercado especially, too, just kind of looking. He does have a little higher fly ball rate, too. So definitely like that here in Wrigley. So I think I like some Cubs here. I'm going to put them in my top 3 stacks here today.
Yeah, Cubs should have some ownership as well. 10 to 15 miles an hour wind in the Windy City. Just looking at our favorite meteorologist, he is saying that the rain will come after the game ends. So no interest in the pitcher. I actually don't mind these Phillies as well, taking on this I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Wesneski guy. I know he's been around, but not a very good pitcher. Only $6,300 on DraftKings, so I don't mind taking my shot with that. The top 5 guys for Philly, we know their 2 biggest studs are on the IL. If you're just now joining us, we're 5 games in. Make sure you hit that like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way in. It helps Gyiraszin and I out a ton over here. We certainly appreciate all 100 of you watching us right now and the ones that will watch us on replay as well. Moving on to the next game.
Is that Peyton Manning behind you? Is that your boy Peyton Manning behind you there?
That's all Peyton. Yeah, got to representing my Vols today. Just won the CWS, Gyiraszin. So yeah, my boy.
I think I got my Charles Woodson thing around here somewhere.
Oh, that's just dirty. The Heisman. They stole it from my guy. They stole it from my man Peyton. But
They
Man,
did too.
Charles
I won't
Woodson.
lie. They did
Woodson
too.
was so special that year he won. I mean, you can't argue that. I mean, Woodson obviously Hall of Fame
Well,
career.
at that time, man, ABC with Keith Jackson, and it was seen by more people across the country. So I think that's what had. Now it's totally flipped. The SEC's on way more. It seems in the Big Ten. I mean, if it would have been reversed, I think just the media coverage had a lot to do with that. Just because Woodson was on every damn highlight.
Yeah.
And when he made a play, he made some plays. I mean, there was no doubt about it. He made some highlight reel. It was like the Odell Beckham effect. Like, it was just more of a sweet play than really. And he probably made it harder than it needed to be, but he still made the plays. But yeah, I mean, definitely.
And doing it on both sides of the ball. He obviously was a great player and a great pro too. So.
Oh, one of my favorites as a pro. And I want to try his whiskey. I heard his Charles Woodson whiskey's pretty good from what I understand.
I didn't know that was a thing, but yeah, I have to check
he's
that
got
out.
his own whiskey line.
There you go. Hey, if you got that much money, why not make some more making your own whiskey? We'll head down to the Lone
Star. Lay off my bowels now. Well, hey, I'll admit, I went to some Tennessee games. I used to have some family. I went down there. I went to some Tennessee, Alabama games. I sang the song. Around the bowl, down the hole, roll, tide, roll. I sang the song. I never seen people with some outdated newspapers wrapping their pints, putting it in their back pocket. Y'all down there in Tennessee got to go. I saw some guy sneak in a freaking half gallon of Jack Daniels too, dressed up as a baby in a stroller, full credit. That was amazing. I was like, man, these people down here, you guys knew how to tailgate. It was a different kind of tailgate because you're actually friendly to your people. Like if Michigan's tailgating to Ohio State, there got to be some cops in line because there's probably might be a fight. But you guys that keep it friendly and like would joke with each other, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun going down to some of them games.
Nice. Yeah, keep it close to the game starts.
Game too.
Yeah. Yeah, and then my guy Pojen, he remembers our guy Keith Jackson, R.I.P.
Oh,
Keith. That was some good stuff. Michael says whiskey ? More like moonshine. That's what you're getting down here in Tennessee. You never know.
Too. That's the first time I ever had moonshine too, and you don't forget that.
Hey, it just means more. They say that's the slogan, right? For the SEC, it just means more down here. I guess it does, but hey, college football, it'll be right around the corner.
And wait, we got some football. I think it's like 60 some days before we get some NFL football or something. We're getting there.
Something like that. Yeah. Anyway, getting back into the baseball. We're headed to the Lone Star State. Sounds like we got your number one pitcher on the slate, taking on this Wyatt Langford-led Texas Rangers, fresh off his cycle on Sunday Night Baseball. First of the season. I don't know if you saw that, Gyiraszin, but we got Texas Rangers taking on Dylan Cease. Dylan Cease gives up a ton of fly balls, ton of power to lefties, Gyiraszin, just FYI. Corey Seager. Is Corey Seager back or did he go on the IL? Looks like he's in the projected lineup, so it looks like he could possibly play. Talk to me a little bit about this game. Any interest in Cease, which I know you do. Any interest in Nathan Eovaldi, who's had some good outings here recently. That Padres team has been hot, though, offensively with no Fernando Tatis. Talk to me about this game. If you like the pitchers, I'm assuming you don't like any bats, but talk to me.
Yeah, I think Cease, I mean, it's 31% K rate. It's the highest on the slate. He's got a walk rate 7.5%. I just think the upside here is definitely here for Cease. You're right. He is more of a little fly ball pitcher. The lefties, almost 32%. Little bit concerning there, but I just think definitely, Title likes to talk about K props. It's sitting up there at 6.5. So I think that he's got the highest K prop on the slate. I just think he's got the best stuff here today out of these guys' best matchup, and he's got the highest upside for me. So I'm not afraid to attack this Texas team here. We got a total here of 7.5 also on this game. Eovaldi is another one here I think is interesting. I think Eovaldi is a guy that I might look at, as a kind of a pivot off some of these other guys. He's more of a pivot kind of play with some of these guys in the middle, like the middle tier, like the Kirby's, the Singers, Eovaldi, Lopez, and Grayson Rodriguez. I think all those guys are in kind of the same bunch. But I think Eovaldi is definitely a guy you could look at here today. I wouldn't say he's like at the top of my list, but I don't mind it at all, especially against the White Sox. Somebody we do like to attack. It's just Eovaldi for me. Really, I wish I just have more of a K, list more Ks out of him here against this squad. I'm just looking at what it is.
Yeah, just I think you were thinking about Dylan Cease from last year. I think you said White Sox probably just messed it up, but it's Padres.
Oh, yeah. What the hell am I looking at? Hold on a minute. Yeah.
But
What am I saying White Sox for? I'm looking at the seats here, looking at his hat for some stupid reason.
Yeah, that's where he played last year.
No, but yeah, you're right. He's going up against the Cease is going against the Rangers, so I don't mind that matchup. But Evaldi against the Padres.
There you go. That's what it was.
There we go. Now I'm back on track. Fuck.
You had
ground
those
ball
funnel
percentage
cakes,
is pretty high
on
for
your brain.
Evaldi. He's just more of a ground ball pitcher. I mean, he's got 22% K rate to lefties, 25 to righties. I just wish he had more K rate here, but I don't mind the matchup. I think Evaldi's in play. Both pitchers in play, but I definitely prefer Cease.
Yeah, both pitchers in play. Appreciate Michael Peterson saying Seager is out. The confirmed lineup is out. And, yeah, no Corey Seager. He's still out. Someone was accusing the Orioles of being dirty. I didn't think it was dirty, but, man, you never know. Corey Seager, great player, but not playing tonight. I think you can play.
I didn't know. That was kind of that was borderline dirty. You can make an argument, I think, on both sides.
I thought what was dirty, I don't know if you saw Gausman hit Aaron Judge. I mean, goes 2-0 on him, then just beans him right in the side after they nailed Vladdy right on the hand. I thought that was on purpose. And somebody, the other day, that was the Padres and the Nationals. I don't know if you saw that little brouhaha, but that was a pretty good little skirmish where they stopped the game, and then the next pitch, the pitcher, Mackenzie Gore, hits the batter, then Machado goes deep. That was pretty funny to watch all that. And the manager for the other team got thrown out, but whatever. These umpires, I mean,
sometimes I like that shit talking. Like I'd play softball, and I was the pitcher. If you buzzed the tower, I was letting you know, like, you fuckers, buzz it again. I'm gonna bean one off your pitcher's forehead. So, I mean, it's the same kind of shit. And then you get shit talking, somebody hits a homer. Them are the fun games to watch. Like, yeah, I mean, them are the fun ones.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, we got Tampa. We got Kansas City. They're going to be very popular. Stealing a line from my boy Nades. If you plug them in any optimizer, they're going to spit out a lot because they are cheaper than the next game we're going to talk about in the Mile High City. We got Brady Singer. We got the Iceman, Zach Littell is what I call him. So any interest in either one of those pitchers? I don't have any interest in them. I have a ton of interest in these bats. Talk to me about Rays at Royals.
I got a little bit interest in Singer. If I was MME, maybe like an SP2 kind of thing. I don't mind him at all. I mean, the Rays are a team I don't mind attacking. Singer's K rate, I wish would be a little better, 22.6%. But, yeah, I don't mind going after these Rays at all. I mean, Singer is a guy here, a ground ball type pitcher, very low fly ball pitcher. I think he can eat up some innings for you. I like his price point. So, yeah, I think Singer's in play here. I definitely could go there. Now, the Royals, you're right. They are cheap. I think Little here, I mean, they normally do come up a lot of times in some optimizers because they are cheap. But they're cheap for a reason, man. They just don't hit home runs. They're just not they're another team, for me, Ham, that just isn't hitting home runs. It's, and they're not even really stealing bags as you like. At least with Cincinnati, you can put up with the fact that, they might get you 3 or 4 bags in a night. But it's just hard here to stack up the Royals. I mean, I like mini stacking them sometimes. I mean, obviously you can use Bobby Witt and maybe throw in a couple of these other guys that are cheap here once in a while. But I just feel like if you're full stacking them, I just think you're already behind an 8-ball because I just don't see too many games this season the Royals are going to bang out 3-4 home runs in a game. It's just probably not going to happen all that often, even though, I do like the park. I don't mind that. You're sitting at a game total here, 9.5. It's actually the second highest total of the slate here, Ham. Third highest total being the Dodgers and Arizona. So, I mean, you're sitting here looking at a game total that obviously Vegas likes here. So, but man, I mean, in DFS purposes, I don't care if they score 10 runs or not. If they single and double them all to death, it really ain't going to win you a tournament. You need to get a few runs with some 3-run homers and get some home runs put up on the board. I think that's what obviously is winning us some DFS tournaments. So I've been having a hard time full stacking the Royals here.
Yeah, no, would agree with you for sure. Let's just look up. Yeah, I mean, Little is a 29% fly ball rate to lefties. Let's look up to righties. But yeah, I'm with you. He does a little bit better against righties, righty on righty, 26%, misses 13% of those bats. But it's tough to stack those Rays, man. They're frustrating. I'm not going to be stacking the Rays, and I was going to mention it, but 2 people have talked about it in the in the chat. Keep an eye on that weather. There were some rain concerns earlier, so just make sure you're monitoring.
Yeah, it's yellow, orange, and it's saying that it should be clearing out. but still keep an eye on that one there.
Yep. And then the confirmed lineup is out. I thought someone was saying Vinny Pasquantino is sixth. He's sixth in RBI. He's batting third today. Yeah, Vinny P, not too bad. I don't think the Royals are the worst stack, but yeah, I'm with you. It's tough to full stack them. And Bobby Witt, 6,300 on DraftKings, fourth highest batter on the slate. I think we can find better bats elsewhere. Moving on to the next game where I know it's going to be a lot of interest. You got the Milwaukee Brewers fresh off a game in the teens last night between the two teams, taking on this Colorado Rockies team. You got my boy Dallas Keuchel taking on Ryan Feltner in the Mile High City. These bats are super expensive on both sites, Gyiraszin. I don't think you have any interest in the pitchers, but if you do, let me know. Give me some of your favorite bats out of this game.
I mean, I think we're looking at a softball game here. I mean, Dallas Keuchel, yeah, he's a ground ball pitcher, but I don't mind either side of these guys here. I mean, especially if you want to look at more of a fly ball lean. You know, Brenton Doyle is a guy that I like, and Tovar. Brenton Doyle's got almost 37% fly ball rate, so Tovar is almost sitting at a 30. So I do like those guys. They would be at the top of my list here. But man, I think the Brewers. I think Feltner sucks, man. I mean, Feltner's got awful. What is his ERA? Almost like 7.5, something like that. I mean, you got to love the lefties here. I think Yelich is obviously one of the top plays on the whole slate. Turang, I think, is a guy you could look at. Bowers. Frelick's another guy you could look at. I think the Brewers are obviously the top stack here. We're sitting at a game 11.5, sitting there in a warm type environment out there in Colorado. Brewers, for me, obviously are somebody you're going to want to look at here today. So, yeah, give me some Brew Crew here today. But as I mentioned, I think Yelich and the lefties are where I'm going to want to start.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be tough to stack them in a good pitcher, obviously. So you're going to have to, anytime you got a Coors game, you have to get, 7, 8, 9 there. And then if you did it last night, Brenton Doyle double dong, I think, in the 7 hole. So can always do it.
I had him in my core, even though it was 3 games. I did have him in my core.
Oh, nice. Yeah. My core was pretty good too. Of course, I played small on that night and just had a bunch of the
That's usually what happens, isn't it, Ham? The nights we know it's not really a good slate, to really be putting some money out. Because when you got 3 games like that, it only takes one guy, and you pretty much got to have him. There can be more variance when you have more games. You don't necessarily have to have that one guy. But, hey, yesterday you definitely had to have the double stacker. And I think it's a similar type situation today. And I'm kind of hoping that some other these Dodger games, the Arizona game, the Cubs game, and, I'm hoping that those pull some ownership from this one because I think, you could look at both sides, stacking up both sides here today. Brenton Doyle, as I mentioned, is my favorite guy over on the Rockies, but lefties for me over here. But, yeah, both of these pitchers stink. The bullpen here for Colorado, as we've mentioned before, is the absolute worst in all of MLB. So, that's another thing there. So, I mean, yeah, it just lines up. I think it's good. Now, the Brewers have a way better bullpen. They're in the top. I think they're 4th or 5th as far as ERA goes, as far as bullpen ERA. So they got a little bit better bullpen. But that's definitely why the Brewers stand out a little bit. But I'm not afraid of either starting pitcher. They both stink. Yeah,
they do both stink. And I only saw some of the replay, but the Brewers, I think, had on their old school helmets last night with the blue, with the yellow down the thing, with the old school Brewer with the glove, and those things were so sick. But, yeah, really like this game tonight. Hey, it's an 11-game slate, so if you wanted to fade this game, you certainly can. It's 11.5 total. And just hope it doesn't nuke, right? Just hope it doesn't go, for 15, 16 runs again. I think you got a shot. Outside of this game, I mean, we always say it, right? There's 11 games. Ownership is going to be spread out. I think a lot of it will focus on this game and the Tampa-Kansas City game. Should it go there? But, yeah, I'm with you. I think you're going to have a few of these pieces in your builds tonight. Definitely no pitchers, no Feltner, and Dallas Keuchel. I think Nades could go out there and get a hit off Dallas Keuchel. Moving on to the next game. This one's going to get ugly. We liked the last one with a lot of offense. Now we got an ugly game going to the Oakland Coliseum, where I think their attendance will be about 472 people there. We got Jose Soriano taking on Mitch Spence. Both offenses been pretty putrid. Both offenses taking on, I would say, mediocre to less than mediocre type pitchers. Any interest in Soriano would be the one that I have over Spence, or any interest in either one of these bats in this bad ballpark.
I'll tell you what, over on FanDuel, I think Spence is my low price pitcher that I wouldn't mind using. I think he's definitely a great price. So I think Spence, if I want to load up on some bats, that's the arm I'm going to look at using here today. So I don't mind him at all. As I don't mind here, especially in the park in Oakland. So we're sitting at a game total 7.5. Looking at Spence, his K prop, I wish it would be a little higher. He's sitting at 4.5 here, but I don't mind him at all here. I think he's a decent play, especially for the price. So especially around FanDuel, I'm willing to use him here. So I think he's a guy, especially if I want some of these Colorado bats, some of these Coors bats. Yeah, I think he's a guy that you might be able to jam in here today.
Yeah, sorry, I'm getting some hate in here for pouncing on my boy Spence. My fault, Poggi, Stoner. Yeah, no, I'm not a Spence guy, right? I'm not necessarily an Angels guy, but man, this Mitch Spence, I can't play him. I don't know if you know him personally or not, or just like him as a pitcher, but yeah, sorry there was no personal attack there, man. That would disrupt traffic with that many people. Yeah, all right, moving on. I don't have any interest in this game, neither one of the pitchers as well. Moving on to the next game. I think we got 3 left, if my memory serves me correctly. No, down to 2 games. It looks like we have Baltimore headed into Seattle, pitcher's ballpark. We got Grayson Rodriguez, who is projecting for a lot of points tonight, taking on George Kirby in this Seattle Mariners team. Gyiraszin, what if I would have told you that this Mariners team is striking out 33% versus right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks? Have been absolutely abysmal. Every time I looked up against the Twins, it was Pablo Lopez 9. Whoever else was pitching for him. Joe Ryan, I believe, got 9 on Sunday. I mean, they were striking out left and right. Now we get Grayson Rodriguez, pretty good strikeout pitcher in and of himself, taking on this just strikeout happy Seattle team. Talk to me about this. Any interest in either one of these pitchers or offenses?
Yeah, I think Rodriguez is interesting. I got him in my top handful of pitchers here today, just as you mentioned. I mean, man, Seattle's they've just not been very good. High swing and strike rate. I think Rodriguez, I mean, I wish he'd have a little bit better, higher K upside. As far as, we're looking at, I mean, his K prop is a massive 7.5 here today, because I think the books are getting sick of everybody winning money off Seattle, especially with their pitchers K prop. But I mean, you look at Rodriguez game log, last like 5 out of 6 games, he's been in mid 20 points. So, I mean, you're sitting here looking at him, 9,400 over there on DK. I'd prefer him over Kirby and some of these guys. So in that middle bunch there, I think he'd be my first guy other than like the Ceases and the Gills, as I mentioned, in the Scoobles. I think Rodriguez, I think this play is pretty interesting. Obviously, you mentioned here because of the matchup with Seattle. We're sitting at game 7-7. So it's got the lowest total of the whole day. So I think both sides here of this game here are definitely interesting. I think Kirby's interesting too. I don't mind Kirby at all. I kind of put him in about both the same range. Kirby's about 24% here. Grayson's 20, almost 26% K rate. So kind of got him about the same. But I do prefer Rodriguez, obviously, because of the matchup there against this just K happy. Just every game, man. They just been striking out a ton.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I mean, Kirby's been pretty good this season. But he's been worse against righties, right? We know a lot of the power comes from those lefties. So if it was those Orioles, I mean, I say it every time those Orioles have just beat up some of the best right-handed pitchers, including Luis Gil. Time and time again, they just keep beating them up. So I don't think that's a terrible stack. Late night hammer, no one's going to be playing them. And then, I don't see how you could stack those Mariners just with how much they've been striking out. No thank you there for me in that game. Let's head to the last game of the night, where I think we'll have some interest in at least one of these offenses. We have the Arizona Diamondbacks taking on the LA Dodgers in LA. Bobby Miller going up against my boy Ryan Nelson. Any interest in Bobby Miller? Could I interest you in some Bobby Miller? $7,500 on FanDuel. That would be my lowish type picture, $400 more than Mitch Spence. But any interest in Bobby Miller for you? Any interest in these Dodgers bats as a late night hammer?
Love the Dodger bats. We can start there. Ryan Nelson is not very good. Low strikeout pitcher. He does have a ground ball lean. But, love me some Dodger bats here. these Dodgers all have pretty high fly ball rate, especially the top five: Ohtani, Smith, Freeman, Teoscar, Pages. They all have pretty high fly ball rate. So I think Nelson is going to be in trouble. Low strikeout pitcher. You just can't do that here at Dodger Stadium. We're sitting on another game with a total of 9. Nelson, he's not good at all. So, but you mentioned on the other side here, man, I wish I could play some Bobby Miller. I just can't get there yet, man, Ham. I haven't seen it out of him. I was just kind of just wanting to check. You're right. His pricing's really low. I mean, he's got a nice win equity today, but I mean, you look at him last time, minus what, the 25th right there. What was that? Last week there, minus 3.7 points. I mean, 2 innings. He got absolutely shelled. Gave up 3 runs, 1K, 60 pitches, 79 pitches. I mean, we haven't seen him get over 80 in a while. So, I mean, that's definitely concerning. So I feel like even if he was having a good game, the pitch count really isn't there. But he just looks like he's been getting beat up. I mean, there's no even hope there in his game log. You look at it, you're thinking he's a relief pitcher. He doesn't even have any points over 10. So definitely really concerning. He is a very good pitcher. I just don't think he's ready yet. I think he's struggling with some issues injury wise, but he's mowing it out there. I think he's toughing it out. He's just not somebody we're going to be looking for any kind of upside at this point.
Yeah, just looking, I did have a little bit of interest in him, but just looking at his numbers, man, he just gets absolutely pounded by lefties. You have Marte, Carroll, and the former Dodger great himself, Jock Pederson, coming back home. So give me those 3 lefties as a little mini stack. I like that a lot. And throwing Christian Walker on the back end of that stack, I think that's a great little 3-man or 4-man if you wanted to add Christian as well. All right, let's get into some of our favorite pitchers. Let's go top 3 pitchers, Gyiraszin, and then I'm going to ask you another question. So give me your top 3 pitchers on the slate tonight.
I'm going to go Cease 1, Skubal 2, and then I am going to go Grayson Rodriguez 3.
Nice. I'm gonna go Grayson Rodriguez 1. I'm going to go Skubal 2, and simply because we like him so much over here at the Nation, he is our number 1 ranked pitcher. I'm going to go Luis Gil number 3, which is kind of scary. Next question, because I always like to bet this, Gyiraszin. I'm going to bet it tonight in your honor as well. What pitcher is going to lead the slate tonight in strikeouts?
What pitcher will lead the slate in strikeouts? I am going to say, let's go with, I'm going to go with Grayson Rodriguez.
Grayson Rodriguez, he's 6.5 to 1. I'm going to go a little bit more odds. I'm going to say Reynaldo Lopez. I'm going to go out on a limb, 15 to 1, Reynaldo Lopez. If I think he's going to strike out a bunch, I better put him in my top 3. I'll put Reynaldo Lopez at 4.
I think there's some pretty good pitching today. I think pitching could be spread out a little more so. And I'll tell you what, if our rankings here at SHIPIT Nation have Luis Gil number 1, I think that's interesting. I've just been really worried about the recency bias, but I'll tell you what, he does have some extreme upside, and you will get him at pretty low owned today for sure.
Yeah, low owned, and he obviously has 14 Ks in his arsenal. I'm not saying he's going to do that tonight, but we have seen it earlier this season. All right, you got your top 3 pitchers. Talk to me about your 3 favorite stacks, and then give me your home run call of the day. Then we'll get on out of here.
I think my favorite stacks, I'm going to go Dodgers 1. I'm going to go, and then I'm just going to go Rockies and Brewers. I mean, I know it's the Coors game, but I mean, I think I'm either going to game stack it. Actually, both games I don't mind game stack. I don't even mind game stacking that Dodger game either as a late one. We know Miller can get beat up a little bit. I don't mind that at all either. So I think I like game stacks here. I'm going to put those 2. And if you want my off-the-wall home run call, somebody I think would I'm going to be looking at to hit a homer. I'm going to probably look at somebody in the Dodger lineup. I'm going to go Will Smith.
Will Smith, don't hate that. I'm going to go a little bit different than you. I'm going to have Atlanta. I mean, this is non-Coors. I'm going to go Atlanta 1. I'm going to go those Phillies 2. And I like those Blue Jays a little bit tonight. That's my little sneaky stack of the night, if you will. My home run call of the day. We'll stay in Atlanta. We'll go Matty Ice, Matt Olson. I think he takes this young rook deep tonight. Any other closing words before we head on out of here, Gyiraszin?
Yeah, another good slate. Make sure you guys watch that little bit of weather, over there in Kansas City. But yeah, I think it's a decent slate here tonight. Can't wait to get through it. We got a little bit of day baseball here tomorrow, so we'll be at it during the day a little bit there. So make sure you guys check out. We'll have some slate plans. We'll get some cores up there for you. We'll be back here tomorrow to break it all down for you again. But hey, fun week here coming into 4th of July. Exciting times. I'm sure most people got Thursday and some Friday off. I can tell you as a longtime DFS player, it's not a bad idea sometimes. Just, it's okay if you want to just spend some time with your family. You ain't got to pressure yourself and rush it and get in there and be staring at your phone and not paying attention what you should be. I'll tell you what, that family life's very important. Don't ever put that away. Don't ever put that down, man. Because you know what? If you're I'm at 52, man. My kids grew up so damn fast. I can't believe it, man. They're running around with cars. I enjoy them times with them. So when I get a chance to sit around, have some fun, I do like to put the DFS aside sometimes. I do get into it. But man, I got to put my phone down, Ham. I can't be staring at it. I might ask somebody, hey, what's the score of that Braves game? If they're on their phone, they'll say 8-1. I'm thinking, fuck, I got Braves. All right, Daddy's looking good, But hey, what's the score of that Cincinnati Reds game? 1-0. Son of a bitch. I already know I'm fucked, Ham. So
yep. Hey, no truer words have been spoken. Make sure you spend that time with the family. Your boy Ham, man, they got him working hard over here. I'm here today. I'm here with you tomorrow. Doing a quick hit on Thursday for the people because we know we got that 4th of July ball, and then I'll be back Friday in my normal spot. Well, I certainly appreciate everyone tuning in. If you are watching this on playback, make sure you're hitting that like button. It helps us out a ton. For my man Gyiraszin, I'm your boy Ham. We'll see you at the top of the leaderboards, and let's ship it.